Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and back to another Urban Calisthenics workout, my full body calisthenics routine. In today's session, I'm excited to bring to you a P-bar and floor Tabata fusion for which you'll be working on 5 exercises. Now each of those exercises you'll be doing a total of 6 rounds of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, that's 3 minutes in total. Times that by 5, that's 15 minutes for the entire workout. Now as this is a P-bar and floor fusion, you will need a set of P-bars and a small space to work in and you are pretty much good to go. As always, make sure you practice those instructionals before getting stuck in alongside a thorough warm-up, and I will leave a link in the description below for a warm-up that I feel is suitable for this routine, but by all means do one of your own. That's enough from me, let's see what's in store. So for the P-bar jump through to push up, you're going to start yourself off in an L position, making sure the hips are either level to or even better, slightly behind the hands. Make sure your wrists are as straight as possible, your arms are locked, your shoulders are packed down. And if you're in a good position with the hips, you should be able to compress down through the bars, keeping the legs straight and lift the feet off the floor. If you can't do this, just have the intention of trying to get as much weight out of the feet as you possibly can. From the L, you're trying to make your way from that position and into a support position. And you're going to do that by leaning forwards ever so slightly, bringing the knees into the chest and stabbing them back into your support position. When you land your position, just make sure your shoulders are slightly in front of the wrists before you do your push-up. From here, I'm going to work into that push-up, bringing the hips down with the shoulders, pushing out strong, locking the arms completely, and then you're going to pass through a tuck and back into your L, making sure the hips don't move in front of the hands. So again, either level to or slightly behind. So again, I'm going to lean, knees into the chest, land the support position, back into the push-up. If you want to try to catch it without landing the legs, so the hips are behind, not in front of the hands. Pass through the tuck, back into your push-up. So for our squat to pike press, you're going to start by moving into your deepest squat position where you can keep your heels in contact with the floor. From here, the intention is to bring the hands to the floor, sending the hips up all at the same time. Now the shorter the gap between the foot and the hand position, the harder the press is going to be, or the more intense it's going to be on the shoulders. The hand setup itself, you're going to be around about shoulder width, and the intention is to bring the head out in front of the hands, so you're essentially forming a triangle between your hands and your head. As you move into the floor, the intention is to bring the arms into the body, keeping the spine round or neutral as you're coming down, bringing the head to the floor and keeping the forearms in an upright position. From here, you're going to push out strong, keeping those forearms upright, and then you're going to push back into your resting squat position. So placing the hands down, sending the hips up, making sure your hands are set to around about shoulder width. Bringing the head out in front of the hands, bringing the elbows into the body, taking the head to the floor, pushing out strong, and then moving back into your resting squat position. If this is too challenging, what we can do is take a prop such as a yoga block, place it to where the head is going to go, and obviously all this is going to be doing is taking some of that range out of the press, so we have less distance to travel. So hands will go in the same position, hips will go up, bring the head towards the block, push out strong, and then move back into your resting squat position. So for the P-bar dips, you're going to start by setting your bars up to around about shoulder width. From here, placing your hands central to the bars, you're going to start with your hips level to your arms and getting the legs as straight as you possibly can. As you initiate the dip, the intention is to bring the head forwards, keeping the forearms in an upright position and taking the backside as near to the floor as you possibly can. So bringing the head forwards, keeping the shoulders round, you work down into your dip, backside to the floor if you can. Keep your legs as straight as possible. And as you push out strong, I want you to think about breaking the bars as you reach that top position, so we're working into the back of the shoulders. And again, as we initiate the dip itself, you're bringing the shoulders forwards, bringing the head as close to the knees as you possibly can, and then pushing out strong. When you reach that top position, I want you to think about keeping the shoulders down as best you possibly can. So don't let the shoulders fall into this shrug position here. Keep the shoulders down and then initiate the dip itself. So for the step up squat, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor, but making sure the chest is as high as possible. So straight away, you're going to feel like your legs are kicking in. From this position, the intention is to make your way down to the knees very gently, one at a time. And when you land the knees, you're going straight back into the squat position by scooping one foot directly underneath the hip, and then the second one back into that strong squat position, and then making your way down to the floor. It is important that as you're doing the step up squat, that you're alternating the legs as you make your way down to the floor and then back into the squat again. So for the L sit to half straddle, you're going to start by setting your bars up to around about shoulder width, and it's from here that you need to make your way into your L sit position. In the L sit, you're going to make sure that your arms are as straight as possible, the shoulders are packed down, and the legs are as straight as possible. From here, the intention is to lean forward slightly and at the same time compressing into the bars and bringing one foot behind the bars. With the straight leg, the intention is to pull that leg all the way through and to the outside of one arm, allowing the heel to lift on the side of the bent leg. And when in the straddle, just make sure that you're bringing the leg into the outside of the arm and keeping that leg as straight as possible. From here and keeping the leg straight, you're going to compress into the bars again, swing the leg around and bring it back into the L. You're going to join both feet together and do exactly the same on the other side. If you want the extra challenge, instead of having your feet down in your L, you can have your feet off, which is going to make it a little bit harder on the shoulders and the abdominals as well. So when in the L position, what we're going to do is bring the hips back ever so slightly, compress down through the bars and lift the legs up. Same intention, bring one leg back, bring the straight leg all the way through and into that half straddle position. Pull that leg through, back into the single sided L, join the feet without the feet touching the floor, and do the same on the other side. Now, just before we kick things off with the workout, I just want to let you know that if you want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, then head over to urbancalisthenics.com, where you can access over 100 calisthenics workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. You can also take advantage of a 7-day free trial with no commitments and no payments up front. Now let's get into the workout. Thanks so much for taking part in this Urban Calisthenics workout. I hope you had a great time challenging yourself and breaking a sweat. If you did find this workout useful and beneficial, please give me a like, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, please visit urbancalisthenics.com, where you can gain access to over 100 workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. Keep up the great work, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next workout.